Hey, welcome to a new lesson. Now it's time to create the actual first animation. So we have this character composition. We won't need this anymore for now. Don't worry if you delete this from the timeline. It doesn't mean that you lose everything you have worked. So if you take this again into your timeline, you can see that it has everything. It has the controllers and everything. So you don't have to worry about deleting this from the timeline. Remember that the important thing is to have this composition here on the project panel. So you can delete this for now, and I'm going to take this character composition and press Ctrl C and Ctrl B to duplicate. Now this duplicate will be called first animation. And now drop this into your timeline and you will have the same character here. Of course, this doesn't have any animation because that's what we're going to do now. Now open this pre-comp, this first animation pre-comp, and now it's time to work with the controllers here. So right now this one already has the animation for the eyes, so we are set with that. So the first animation I want to move is that this arm will be scratching this arm. So he will look like, I don't know, like he's a shy person and he doesn't know what to do. So first he will scratch his arm, and then he will scratch this leg with this foot, and it will look really nice. So to do that, let's zoom in first on the first second. Now let's grab our right hand controller, and all we are going to change is the position. So the nice thing to have a controller is that instead of having to go to these bones and move the right hand bones and move everything together, all we need to do is to move the controller, and that's it. So we can just click, press the letter P on your keyboard to open the position settings, and we're going to play with these position settings. Now zoom in, and now we're on the first second of the animation. So click here to create a keyframe for the position that remains like this. Now let's advance 10 frames, so we are on the first second, and advance 10 frames, and now we're going to move the arm or the hand controller up to this point. Let's change this to fall. I'm going to place it here right on this point so that it looks like he's scratching his arm. You can even move it a little higher here. Alright. Now for now we have this animation. He has his arms like this and then goes to his arm. Of course we need to add new movement. I want this arm to go up and down and then go back to the original position. So I'm going to move 5 frames, and I'm going to change the position a little higher, and then 5 frames later I'm going to copy the first position, so it will go like this. Let's hit play. Okay, so he goes like this. I know it may be a bother to have these controllers here, but don't worry, because on the final render, of course, we won't have to see these controllers. So right now he's doing like this. So we need to repeat this movement so that he scratches his arm like 2 or 4 or 3 times. So I'm going to copy these last keyframes and I'm going to paste them 5 frames later. Once and twice. Now I have this animation 3 times, so he will be like this. Now when he finishes doing this, I want him to get his arm right when it was where it was on the beginning. So I'm going to press to select this keyframe, the first keyframe, this one. I'm going to copy it, and now I'm going to move here 10 frames later, and here I'm going to paste this position again. So now it will look like this. Pretty cool, right? You can see how soft it looks, how smooth the movement is, and that's thanks to the bones that we added and the puppet pins and the controller and everything that we set for the rigging, because otherwise this wouldn't move like this. You know that it would move pretty stiffy, the arm will be like only one object, and now it looks like the arm is really animated. So this is pretty cool. Now you can see that these are normal keyframes, so now the movement is a little choppy here. It's a little too fast, so I want these frames, all these frames, to be easy ease. So I'm going to take them all, go to keyframe assistant and press easy ease. Now the movement will be softer. You can see that the movement is now a little more natural. So make sure that you always use easy ease for the animation. It's really important that you do so. Okay, we have the first animation, is this one. Now, when he finishes scratching his arm because, I don't know, he's shy or doesn't know what to do, or he's just lazy. Now, when he finishes doing that, I want him to scratch his leg, but with the left foot. So I'm going to wait to the 4th second here, and I can close this now, and I'm going for the left ankle. Now it's time to move the left ankle. Now if you move the left ankle right now, make sure that you save all the time, please. Now if I move this left ankle, you can see that the shoe is moving along with it, because we attached this, we made this shoe a child of the left ankle. So that's pretty important, because otherwise we would be moving the leg only and the foot will be like over here. So I'm going to open the position for the left ankle, and I'm going to click on the stopwatch to create a keyframe. Now I'm going to use the same amount of keyframes and the same separation of the keyframes as I did with the arm. So we are now on the second 4, so 10 frames later, which would be right here, I'm going to move this leg to here, to this point. Just make sure that the foot is touching the leg, like that. Now we need to add some rotation to this foot, because it looks really weird like this. It looks like his ankle is twisted or something. So we have to go to the left shoe, which is this one. Let me color this so that I don't lose it, and we will change the rotation as well. So take the rotation, and now let's see where our first keyframe for the leg is, which is here on the second 4, and we're going to create a keyframe for the rotation here. Now 10 frames later, when we are at this point, we're going to change the rotation to, let's see what works here. And now you see that this is looking bad, because if we decrease this rotation, you can see the ankle here, so it makes no sense at all. So before moving the rotation, grab your pan behind tool and change the anchor point to this part where the ankle should be. Now we can move the rotation. Let's move the rotation then. I think we can move it to maybe 45 degrees, or this looks good. This 50 degrees, minus 50 degrees. This looks nice. This looks realistic. So now we have the right movement here for the foot, but we need to change then the position of the left controller so that the point with this one, the point of the foot isn't above the leg, but just touches it like this. Alright, now the movement is going like this. So that looks good. Now we need to create some movement to this one. So let's go 5 frames later, and we're going to change this a little higher, like this. You can see that the leg isn't falling apart from the lower part body. And now 5 frames later, I'm going to copy this instance like this. Now, as we did with the arm, I'm going to copy these 2 keyframes, this position and this position, and I'm going to paste them 3 times. So I'm going to have 3 loops. So he will be like this, like he's scratching his leg or something. Now when he finishes doing this, I want the leg to go back to the original position. So I'm going to take this keyframe, the original keyframe, and I'm going to move 10 frames later and paste it. Of course, when we do this, we also need to change the rotation of the foot, because otherwise he will look really weird. So we need to change this. So I'm going to the left shoe, and let's make sure that we don't do anything weird here. When he is like this, we're going to create another keyframe, and now 10 frames later I'm going to copy this first keyframe, the original keyframe, and paste it here. So he will move the foot along as the leg goes down. So let's see how this thing looks. Perfect. Okay, now what we need to do is to easy ease all these keyframes. I'm going to take all of this, right click, keyframe assistance, easy ease, and I'm going to do the same for the foot rotation so that it rotates more naturally. Now let's see how this looks. Really cool. Now let's see how this whole thing looks from the beginning. Okay, let's hit play. Now he scratches his arm, then scratches his leg, and that's it. So it looks really nice because you can see how the eyes are animated along with all of this. So it looks super cool and super natural. So you can see the importance of having the character rigged, because otherwise this animation would go completely different. The movement would be really weird, would be really stiffy, and with this rigging that we set up, you can see how natural it looks. So we can cut this animation when it ends. Let's see, he goes for 4 seconds, and then I think that on the 7th second we can finish this one. So I'm going to press the N key, right click on the work area and trim component. Now if we close this, you can see the animation lasts, this first animation lasts for 7 seconds. So now we can add a second animation, but that of course will be on the next lesson. So see you in the next one.